Hey, I'm JoeySooch. I hope you guys are doing fabulous today. So this is a weird topic to talk about. Drugs and alcohol. Let's talk about drugs first. Drugs is kind of a taboo topic. It's also pretty vague and weird to talk about because it affects everybody differently. There are legal and non-legal drugs, narcotics, drugs to keep you alive, drugs to keep you sane, alternating your chemicals, side effects, and so on. So I have a rare disease called FOP where I get these large swelling called flares and bones start to form and lock my body into place permanently. Most of these flares are doable as you can have a flare in your neck and still go on your day. Like it kind of gets in the way and somewhat painful, but life gets in the way and you have to do things to keep going. The only flares where life stops is the hip and thigh flares. Unbelievable pain everywhere and painful to just move. We are talking on a pain level 12 out of 10 for 2 years. I had to do it twice. And this also includes mental pain too. I made videos on those experiences, linked in the description below. The only thing that helps are steroids or prednisone, and it cuts the swelling and makes life more manageable. But depending how long the dosing and flare is, once you stop the medicine, the flare comes back full force. My flares are basically unstoppable and have to let the body do its thing to completion. Once the flare ends, most of the pain goes away, but it changes the body somehow, so you end up with more chronic pain that could be very hard to relieve. Do I have chronic pain? Yes. Okay, so weirdly enough, my mind thinks my body is normal, if that makes sense. So let me explain. So every day my body urges me to want to stretch. I mean, it really wants me to stretch further than I physically can. My body knows it's in a cage-like state and wants me to relieve the pressure somehow, but I can't. It really wants me to open my arms and expand my chest. Even with therapy and stuff, I can't. I can only take a few steps when I have assistance. Like my balance is completely shot and I would fall over if you let me go for a second. I also have to walk on my tiptoes and I can't straighten out my legs, so I am walking in an unnatural state using different muscles. My body is frozen in that position, like my feet frozen downwards, so I cannot put my feet flat on the floor. With all that being said, my body still thinks I have normal legs, so when I am walking, I have to logically think of how to walk. I don't have quick movement to move my feet forward, but actually I walk sideways because I can't move my legs forward, just side to side. My body thinks that if I am falling, I can put my foot out to catch myself like a normal person could. I can't. My body is very twisted and discombobulated. My hips are not even at all. So when I sit, my body isn't properly distributing my weight. Even I put pillows to compensate, my upper body is in different directions that it doesn't work out. So I have to basically move and switch sides constantly to relieve the pressure and make it most comfortable for me. My scoliosis wants to straighten out, called that is its natural state. If I straighten my body the most I can, with the way my neck is fused, I will be looking at the sky. Weirdly enough, my neck starts to hurt, and the only way to feel better if I stand up. I don't know why standing makes it feel better. I think it allows my muscles to relax and feel comfortable for a few more hours. If somebody tried putting my neck down, for some reason it feels really good. I think my body is always tense and there's no way to relieve the pressure without surgery. I am super blessed to be okay when I am sleeping though. Like I can sleep basically anywhere except if the bed is really soft. I am blessed because a lot of people with FOP have difficulty getting comfortable, or it requires special padding, different pillows, needing somebody to help move, and the body just being difficult to deal with. What's weird with me is that I can only sleep on one side, my right side. I can lie on both sides and be comfortable, but I can only sleep on my right side. Super weird. With all that being said, I am not on any medicine, period. Am I in any pain? Yes. So like every day I am like at a 2 to 4 pain level out of 10. I have taken some pain medication, but they weren't strong enough to help with what I was dealing with. And it's really hard to find a doctor who actually wants to help a serious case like mine. Some months I wasn't really in a lot of pain, but I couldn't get access to the stronger pain medication due to the high levels of addiction and nobody wanted to prescribe it to me. I get it, but I was also really in a lot of pain. I also never bitched to anyone because what was the point? Nobody couldn't really do anything. I cried from it when I was alone. and people kind of cared, but not really. I downplay how I'm feeling cause I don't want to cause inconvenience. I've been too subliminally taught to accept whatever happens, and that would be basically everything. Especially if you're in a traumatic state, you don't have strength to fight. Also, having a disability as severe as mine, people just tend to take you less seriously. Even if I said something and a regular person said the exact same thing, they will listen to the regular able person. Weird, but I get it. I have tried several weaker pain medications like gabapentin to see what works best for me. Just to clarify, I am not a doctor or a licensed professional. I have some experience with medical stuff and some knowledge, but please go to your doctor for proper medical advice. I am just talking from my experiences. The pain medication side effects were horrible. Some I felt kind of numb all over. It kind of helped with the pain. Let's say the pain was a 5, but it would knock down to a 4. I would also get tons of nightmares and was really affecting my sleep. I also liked to be extremely sharp when dealing with everything. I kind of felt like I was in a daze at times and felt slower. It wasn't fun days and kind of question yourself of what is wrong. Obviously I knew it was a medicine, but still, it was just weird. It just wasn't worth it. I overall felt more comfortable without taking the medicine. The medicine I was consistently on was prednisone. That stuff is really terrible for you for long periods of time. And the side effects, they are awful and different each time. I use prednisone to cut swelling down, and that helps a lot with the pain. In my lifetime, I was probably on 20 to 30 different sessions of being on the steroid. One time I had severe insomnia. I literally couldn't go to bed for 3 days. I would get sleepy and get maybe an hour of sleep, then wake up and go to school. At one point, I was watching the Super Bowl, and while Katy Perry was doing the halftime show, I fell asleep through the night. I was that exhausted. Other side effects included being extremely hungry. My body would be weird. I could have 3 bites of pizza and be like full. With the steroids, I could eat an entire dinner and then an hour later eat another dinner. My mom would literally prepare me 2 meals every night, and I wasn't gaining weight either. Other times I didn't eat much and I would gain weight, weirdly enough. Others were nightmares, and sometimes I would be a huge dick and be really mean to everybody and overall be angrier. Once I get off the medicine, it would be a huge relief and I would sleep so well. A good tip is to take it in the morning for minimal side effects. I really do try to not take it for the side effects and rather deal with the medium to lower pain. Now let's talk about what everybody wants to know. The illegal stuff. Have I ever done hard drugs? No. Have I done weed? A couple of times. Has it done much for me? Not really. I only done it socially, never for pain or anything like that. Even my school asked my roommate if I ever smoked for what I have, and the answer was no. Like, really? If you saw me in the street looking for drugs, would you really sell any to me? I probably would get like, just go home, bro. With that being said, I never found the appeal to it. I know there are different strands and kinds and different levels for like being high to remove pain but still be a functional human being, or being extremely baked where you're sitting on a beach in Thailand in the middle of your backyard. Does it interest me? Kind of. I would be open to trying it for both pain and recreationally, but it's not legal where I live and there are no legit shops to help you find the right one for my needs. I want to feel comfortable and educate myself before I put anything into my system. I will also look through other means instead of smoking. I will not do anything that can jeopardize my lungs' health. I know weed is better than cigarettes, but it's still somewhat bad for you. The only thing I want into my lungs is oxygen. I also live with my parents, and they are against weed, so even if I wanted to, I can't. Drugs are also weird because it affects everybody differently. So if you have depression, there are a ton of drugs you can take to try. Everybody that has depression are on different medicines and different doses. Sometimes it takes months or years to find a good combination. Also, life is happening, so your body is always changing every 6 months. Your body is behaving differently, and it's hard to know how your body will react. Genetics also play a huge role. You have Ozzy Osbourne, who has done tons of drugs for such a long time, and he is still somehow alive. And you have people who can't live past 30. I wish we lived in a world that there are no side effects. Like, why can a medicine just help you and not hurt you or cause an inconvenience? Sheesh. I have never taken anything from me psychologically. I went through huge bouts of depression throughout my life, whether it was dealing with what I have, school, family, and the people around me. I am hard-headed because I kind of knew what the problem was that was causing all my issues. I just can't really do anything about it to fix it. It is basically up to me to either accept what I have and try to be happy or be miserable. Being miserable sucks. It is exhausting in itself. I know it's hard for people to get out of the rut and build yourself up. Some people need help and that is totally okay. I really have no problem with that. You are literally trying. Rather have you trying to get better than bitching in a miserable place. It takes a ton of strength to go out and ask for help. I guess my stubbornness plays a big role of how to get better. I think logically of how to do things. I am self-aware of who I am, what role I play in people's lives, and how I am to the public. I accept all of that. I know I am hilarious and a huge savage, but super caring and thoughtful, and put a lot of effort into my relationships. Am I expecting anything back? Not totally. There is a fine line though to putting effort into something. If you are not going to reciprocate in a relationship, then I just move on. If people care, they'll show it. Not gonna think back and forth. For most people, I want you to eat, which is not at my table. I see people put more effort toward a celebrity that had no idea who they are and will most likely never see their stuff, versus using that energy toward their personal relationships. I am a therapist, but dream of how open I am to vent my feelings. I just keep my feelings inside cause no one cares. A therapist care cause they're getting paid. Otherwise, most people don't. They got their own problems and I go really deep. Like what happened in your childhood that made you this way? Some people just don't want to get too deep or not comfortable or whatever reason. We can talk about vaginas and dicks for all I care. Of course that is me and I can't force anybody to be the yin to my yang. I am who I am and you'll have to accept it. I'm self-aware of the situation though, and I'll adjust accordingly. I'm not like, why are you so quiet or whatever. I respect people's boundaries. Do a lot of people like me? I would say so. Do a lot of people want to pursue a relationship, whether platonically or romantically? Not really. Of course you can say my disability, and it's mostly true, but it's also my value. I can provide people's needs, or at least not in the same way. I am a guy and I should be a provider in a way. Of course society changed in the past 50 years, but the fundamentals are largely the same. Would you be more attracted to a person that lives with their parents or is living on their own? Exactly. Then we have alcohol. I'm sure basically everybody has tasted it and gotten drunk at least once in their life. My family barely drinks, so I never drank really to college. I do want to drink, but not with my family. I also like drinking socially. Drinking alone sucks because I want to be showing love, but I don't really have anybody to show love or like to be with. Anyways, I drank in college, not a whole lot actually. In the 4 years, I want to say I drank 2 to 3 bottles of liquor. People are kind of scared of me because they don't really know how to act. Can he drink? Should I drink? Am I being responsible? Is he an idiot? Also not a drinking expert, but intelligent too? Or how smart is he? Can I handle myself? Who is he with? Let's be honest, I look like a retarded person with my hand in the air. If his body is this messed up, his brain has to be too, right? I totally get it. I'm self-aware of it. It sucks with me because I am really sarcastic and people don't know me or don't get my sarcasm, so they really think I'm dumb. And I'm just like, oh no. Back to the drinking. I'll never say no to a shot. Here is the secret. Say you never drank before and people will want to get you drunk with the right people. One time I drank a lot and ended up on a random couch before the party even started. Not my finest moment. I didn't really mind cause I was able to care for myself. My condition worsened and could not really rely on myself anymore. If I went out, I needed to have somebody near me to be my protector in a way. If something happens, I need to know that the person will always have my back, no matter what. Also, people tend to listen to a normal looking person than a disabled person. That is really how it is. They'll think they know what's best without asking me, and if somebody else steps in, then it's like they'll listen to that person, even if I said the exact same thing. I get it, but it also really bothered me. There are very few people that I trusted, and even they bailed on me, so it's not a great feeling. I know I should be able to be independent and such, but I have real problems, and you just can't see it and take me seriously enough. I get it, we're kids and just want to worry about themselves. Now, older people are more caring, I guess, and I was just years ahead. Or people cared then, but just didn't care about me enough, and I was just left out. I don't know. Also, when I drink, I only did shots. For one, it was easy to measure. One shot is one shot. Mixed drink is you were gambling, and college bars put a ton of ice and juice. I really believe I was getting more sober as the night went on. I also only took shots because I couldn't go to the bathroom except in my own home, so having shots would be less likely to go into my system and me then not having to pee. I also never really got drunk because I didn't want myself to be hurt, so it was better to be in a controlled environment, which is my own home. I get it, people wanted to go out and have fun and meet people and such, and I totally get it. I stayed behind for my safety. Do I kind of regret it? Kind of. It was the best for me though. I really wanted to go out and meet people and have fun. I knew people, but I didn't really have anybody to spend my time with. At the end of the day, I just smoked cigarettes by myself. I never did any self-harm like cutting or took pills. I just stayed sober through everything. The only self-harm I would do is I would stand out in the cold. I would be shivering, then I would calm myself down and stop shivering. For one, it was just coldness. All I had to do was go inside for 2 seconds and be fine. Also, I am able to control what my body was feeling instead of my body harming me. I was in control. Also, I like to push my body to see what the human spirit and the body can do. I'm in awe how much a person can endure and to keep going. Did the smoking help in a way to cope? I guess so. The first day of college I walked in alone, and the last day I walked out alone too. The last day of college before my graduation, all I did was smoke alone watching the sunset, while everybody else was celebrating their final hours of college. I had 2 weeks of nothingness. 1 week was senior week and I had a lot of fun with that. I just wasn't that close to people. I hit people up and like let's hang out and such, but nothing came from it. I really tried, but nothing. It was such a terrible feeling. I graduated college in 2015 and my situation had deteriorated a lot. I know smoking was bad, but now it definitely won't do to my base health being even lower. With all the shit I've been through, people have been on more drugs or more drinking for some seemingly less serious stuff than I was dealing with. They kept smoking just to get away from the problems, and hopefully it'll disappear. It looked really bad and it's like, come on bro, there's real shit to worry about and you're dealing with that? I am sure if people suffered half the things I did, they legit wouldn't be alive. I don't know why I keep going. I guess I didn't really have a choice. Would I touch drugs now if somebody offered them to me? Definitely not. Just wish I could drink socially with people that enjoy my presence and want to be with me. Like one time I already graduated and went back to school to hang out with my past housemates. Also they were cool. We had bonding and fun moments throughout the year that we lived together. It was legit my favorite year living with them. I arrived and they weren't even home, so I had to wait. I was already annoyed, but whatever. They didn't even have any liquor or like barely any. They just had beer and I hate beer and just stuck with liquor. Had a somewhat good evening, then everybody just left to do their own thing. I felt absolutely terrible. All I did was smoke and sit outside in like 0 degrees weather. I was just really disappointed. I saw people, but at the end of the day I was alone like usual. It seemed no matter what I do or say, I never win. People who seem to do way less seem to get way more out of life. My story and past experiences really doesn't matter, or even my personality. My value is what matters. I am not a valuable person. I have no real access to income. I don't have a career in place. I am basically a leash onto society and beyond disability that come from taxes. Sure, I could be there for you and support you, but I'm sure you could find another person that offers way more. Also, I am an ugly creature. Let's be honest. My body is twisting and turning. I should be in a body museum. I am an experiment that gone horribly wrong. Now, I am saying this because I know what made me more attractive. On this very YouTube channel, I released a video of my disease to the world. It was a cool little film I made. Anyways, Ashton Kutcher's company or whoever runs social media shared my video. It went somewhat viral, like 200,000 viewers in a few days. I got tons of followers and had like 2,000 followers from 300. I was getting 200 plus likes on each post. It felt amazing and it was a real rush. This happened when I was in college. I was way more recognizable and people were more friendly and genuinely more interested. It really felt amazing. Of course my confidence went way up, but more or less I stayed the same. I wouldn't like, do you know who I am? Of course the fame died down and people became less interested. It was a nice rush and felt great to be wanted. I slowly started losing followers, and now went from like 2,000 to 900 people. People lost interest in whatever. It's totally cool. I should have kept making videos, but I stopped once I graduated because I didn't like doing it alone. In the end, it was my channel, but I retired for years till recently. This is my channel and it should be about me. I have a bunch of other stories like almost committing suicide back in high school. I didn't feel loved and maybe somewhat appreciated. I just sat in the park and cried to myself. I didn't have anybody to go to. I wanted to appreciate life, but not in this way. People were so shit to me and was always left out of everything. No matter how much I tried, I just was never good enough for anybody. My body was getting worse too. My scoliosis was really starting to show. Going to school was the only human contact I could get. It was my world and couldn't get out of it. I wanted to transfer out or something, but nobody took me seriously about it. I couldn't really go out because I was like 16. I had a friend and we would take the train home together since we took the same train. I would get off a few stops later so we can hang out a little longer. Once we graduated, he deleted me off everything and never spoke again. I haven't talked to any of them since. With that being said, I was kind of a white scrawny nerd with very little fashion taste and obviously had a huge disability. Not a great combination, but still. Was I bullied? Not necessarily, but I'm sure people made jokes behind my back. That was fine, I don't care. I could easily fight back with my words. With my personality, I could hang out with the best of them, but it was obviously my image that was the problem. Am I mad at anybody? Not really. Will I talk to them now, even though we were just kids? No, I moved on. College was my only way out to meet different people and a different setting. It was my only saving grace. I was sure that it wasn't the problem, but maybe everybody else was. Maybe not their fault necessarily, but didn't like me enough. It's whatever. People come and go like seasons. I get it. College was great. I felt really good. I was meeting a lot of new people and I could be really in my zone, but I still fell in the same cycle. Meeting people, having a great time and whatever, and that was it. I was always on my own. Nobody ever hit me up and was like, hey, what's up or what you doing? I went to 4 years and I am pretty sure I never been invited to anything. Of course all the relationships were so somewhat superficial, but nobody really took the extra time to hang out. People were always busy and whatnot. Then I got injured, or basically my body was destroying itself. I made a video of that experience. I'll leave a video in the description below. Basically my entire life halted. It was just me trying to stay comfortable and do whatever I could to complete school. Nobody knew and I wasn't really close to anybody, so I just had a lot of sandwiches and just partitioned it so I wouldn't have to ask anybody for help. I was in hibernation mode and going through a lot, so I wasn't eating a lot anyway. I still lost some weight, I have a lot of trouble asking for help, and wasn't close to anybody to really ask for help. Things were moving fast and I didn't know what my future would be. I just did everything and anything to do to survive. Was I always surrounded by bad people? Definitely not. There are a lot of people that have nothing bad to say, even if I wanted to. I'm sure a lot of them will say nothing but positive things about me too. But at the end of the day, what's the point when you don't feel valued or appreciated? I was putting so much effort into the world and kept not doing anything back. And synopsis, I went through a lot of shit. I will continue to go through more. It isn't a prediction, but it's a spoiler unfortunately. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.